Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk This Way. My name is Andrew Luttrell, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Ethan Russell
Hey, what it is?
and Brandon Milam.
What it is.
And this is our new podcast where we talk about movies that we like or that are just horrible, like this movie. Anyway, so yeah. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, which I'll copy it in the links if you want the video form of this podcast.
Of course.
And then be sure to check us out on Patreon to get some cool benefits.
Woo.
So, all right. So first, let's move on to the first portion of this podcast.
Oh, gosh.
So, all right. What movie did we watch?
Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the best Star Wars movie out of all 9.
Yes.
No
9.
one ever said that, ever.
No, absolutely not.
Well, George Lucas said it before. This is going to be the best.
This is going to be the best movie.
I don't know. I feel like even George Lucas sat back and he was like, "Oh crap."
There was some an interview or like unused footage of them like watching the pre-screening of it, and George Lucas was like, "Yeah, maybe I went a bit too far with this." He says that in the interview, and I'm like,
Of course, he
George,
did. George. George.
George.
Okay, so before we get into the meat of this movie, with one word, I want you each to describe this movie with one word. Brandon, you go first.
Wasted?
Wasted.
In every sense of that word, wasted.
So like time,
Time wasted, money wasted,
physically,
opportunity wasted,
physically wasted.
physically wasted, alcoholically wasted.
All of it.
That's amazing. Okay.
Boring. Bro, I legit.
Not boring. Boring.
It's about it. I tried to get as much emphasis behind that boring as I possibly could.
Of course.
It was bad. It was a bad movie. Bro, I didn't know what was going on half the time. Like, low-key, I was like, what is this? So.
Nice. Yeah, I would say yippee! That's the word I would use. Okay. So first, I want to read to you guys the the plot based off of IMDb. All right? I can't
God.
freaking see. Okay. So, the evil Trade Federation, led by Newt Gunray, is planning to take over the peaceful world of Naboo. Jedi Knights Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi are sent to confront these leaders. But not everything goes to plan. The two Jedi escape, and along with their newfound Gungan friend, Jar Jar Binks, they head to Naboo to warn Queen Amidala. But droids have already started to capture Naboo. Oh, of course. And the Queen is not safe there. Eventually, I love this. Eventually, they land on Tatooine because this movie's freaking long. Eventually,
It took them 20 minutes to get there, I swear.
right. Eventually, they land on Tatooine, where they become friends with a young boy known as Luke Scott. No, I'm just kidding. Anakin Skywalker. Qui-Gon is curious about the boy and sees a bright future for him.
Very bright.
Very bright. Very
Totally not going to murder a bunch of children.
right. Very bright. The group must now find a way of getting to Coruscant and to finally solve this trade dispute. But there is someone else hiding in the shadows. And this sorry, I couldn't read that. Are the Sith really extinct? Is the Queen really who she says she is? And what's so special about this young boy? That's literally what it says.
What a great setup to it.
Yeah, great
Horrible movie.
setup to a trash movie.
Is the queen really a pedophile?
Yeah.
Does the Queen really touch little boys?
I mean, obviously.
True.
Freaking Natalie Portman, 18-year-old, talking to a 10-year-old.
It's like,
Nasty. So yeah, this movie was released in 1999. I don't have the exact day because I didn't write it down. The box office. So this is the best. You ready? Freaking, this is ridiculous. So the budget for this movie was $115 million, right?
Dang.
$115 million.
And was that trash?
Opening weekend, it made $64 million.
Oh.
Almost 65.
Hmm.
On May 23rd, 1999. The gross USA, so this is after it was, released. This is to date. It's 474 million.
Okay.
But worldwide gross after the release of the 3D, the 3D release or whatever that happened recently. Well, recently as in like 10 years
I
ago.
was there for that. I was little.
right. It hit the 1 billion mark.
Dang.
So 1 billion, 27 million, 82,000 no, dang it, what is that number? That's a big number. Hold on, maybe it's not billion, maybe it's trillion. 1 trillion, 207
Wait, what? No,
billion.
It's not trillion.
I mean, that low-key kind of looks like it, though.
Oh no, I'm counting these two. That's
Oh.
not right. 1 billion, 27 million, 82,707. That's what it was. Sorry.
No movie has ever made over a
Yeah, I
trillion
know. I'm
dollars.
like, whoa,
I'd
that
be like,
number's way too big.
oh.
Yeah. So the runtime is an hour, or is 132 minutes, which is 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Dude.
And I just wrote this movie, among other things, was incredibly long. Oh my god, this movie was so long.
It
You
felt more like
fell
4
asleep.
hours.
I fell
honestly.
asleep. I was like, all right, guys.
What'd you say?
It felt more like 4 hours, but being
Yeah.
honest.
It really
right.
did. I was like, bro, it's still going on.
It literally, the pod racing ended, and you're just like, okay, it's finally almost over. And then you're like,
45 more minutes.
no, it's more than that. I think the pod racing happened at the 45-minute mark.
Oh my god.
Just like, give me Maul.
Maul,
Hurry
now!
up.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to do was I wrote out the differences in the in the first opening scroll, like where it's all the yellow letters and everything,
Mm-hmm.
between episode 4 and episode 1. All right?
Okay.
Beginnings to the trilogies. All right? I just want to show you guys the difference because it's ridiculous. So this is episode 4, A New Hope. This is the opening scroll. It is a period of civil war. Rebel spaceships, striking from a hidden base, have won their first victory against the evil Galactic Empire. During the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, an armored space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet. Pursued by the Empire's sinister agents, Princess Leia races home aboard her starship, custodian of the stolen plans that can save her people and restore freedom to the galaxy. Pretty good. I would say that
I'd
was
be like,
really
all
good.
right, let's watch this movie.
Yeah, like that's a pretty good setup. Like especially if you've seen Rogue One, that's a pretty good setup to like episode 4. It's like, oh, okay, that's basically what they did. Now this is episode 1, A Phantom Menace. Turmoil has engulfed the Galactic Republic. The taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems is in dispute. Hoping to resolve the matter with a blockade of deadly battleships, the greedy Trade Federation has stopped all shipping to the small planet of Naboo.
Oh, no.
While the Amazon, while the Congress of the Republic endlessly debate this alarming chain of events, the Supreme Chancellor has secretly dispatched 2 Jedi Knights, the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy, to settle this conflict.
And the negotiations were short.
Literally, all I can think of is this movie's about to be about politics. That's all I can think of with that statement.
Here we go.
It's like, oh boy, here we go. It's like opening to a political debate.
That's bad.
I literally reading the first one and then reading the first one being episode 4 and then reading, episode 1. It's like, I feel like I just read legalese, like am I in court right now?
You are.
Oh my gosh, but
Taxation and things.
yeah, it was so bad. Oh my gosh. But so like what did you guys like about this movie or dislike or what? Just talk about it. What about this movie did you guys enjoy?
Okay.
Let's start with that. Let's start with enjoy. What did you guys enjoy?
The thing that I enjoyed the most out of this movie was Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Those are whenever they were on screen, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty lit, because they actually 2 good actors,
Yeah.
and they actually knew what they're doing, and it was interesting.
Right.
Everything else, anything with Jar Jar, anything with Padme, anything with politics, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is so trash. So yes, that would go into my thing that I hate about the movie is the amount of politics and stuff that I just don't care about. I'm like, bro, give me lightsaber fights again. Like,
No, nobody cares about it.
nobody.
Nobody. Was there any politics in the original series?
No, it
little
was
bit.
just war for the most part.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a lot of like,
I guess because the Empire took over, there's not really any politics to be had.
yeah, it's more of a, occupation and not an actual government.
Space
Communism.
Nazis.
Yeah, it's communism versus democracy.
I love democracy.
So yeah, least favorite or my favorite part, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. Least favorite part was all the politic crap. I was like, this is just dumb.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
point.
Okay, Brandon, what about you?
I love the choreography. Like, I'll say that right off the bat.
That's
I
true.
agree.
Best part of like the entire trilogy, if I'm being honest.
Yes, the
Mhm.
prequels had some of the best lightsaber fights, like in any of the movies. I will admit.
Although I would say episode 2, when Anakin was fighting Count Dooku,
That was trash.
and it was just
Mm.
cutscene, just whoomp, 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 like for 5 minutes. That was horrible.
That was
a
trash.
But the choreography with Yoda fighting Count Dooku was awesome. So there
Just
was
a little
definitely
turd was just
points in that. Yeah,
jumping up and down.
That was all CGI, but still.
yeah it was. Oh god, that was awful. But cool. Okay. So that's what you liked.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What did you not like? You're like the rest.
I mean, everyone's gonna say this, but I feel like Jar Jar was completely
Well,
useless.
yeah.
Jar Jar
So-
was trash.
I'll say the
Absolutely.
humor. The humor was dry.
Humor
So
was
dry.
Very bad.
Like I was saying this, if you literally just mute Jar Jar, this movie goes up 20% on Rotten Tomato. All you got to do is mute him. Like you don't even have to take him out. Just mute him. His presence is
I mean,
okay.
Technically, you could take him out of the movie because he's CGI. So like, just remove him from the edit and then boom.
Well, then you'd have a green dude in a mocap suit standing in the middle of the scene.
True, but he would be still more interesting of a character than Jar Jar Binks. I wouldn't even lie.
Call him Green Man. Green Man. He's another Jedi. Oh, that's awful.
He just wanted to be in the credits. That was it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so So now let's do my favorite part, and the whole reason I wanted to do this was for the Two Truths and a Lie game.
Oh, God, here we go.
This is my favorite. So this-
Brandon's like, not
Let's go.
again.
Brandon, you're 0 for 2.
Ugh.
So basically, this is Two Truths and a Lie, and you have to figure out which one's the lie. And then these are all taken from IMDb trivia. So 2 of them are true, and 1 of them I made up.
Okay.
All right. So try not to read over my shoulder because I have to hold it right here. But
I can't read.
okay. Thing number 1: Natalie Portman, who is Queen Amidala, missed the premiere of the party in New York City because she had to go home and study for her high school final exam. That's the first one. Second one is Qui-Gon Jinn, who's played by Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. I'm not. His communicator that he used to talk to Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan,
Mhm.
is a redecorated Gillette Sensor Excel razor for women.
That sounds so true.
And then the last one is the amount of money spent on CGI was more than 2/3 of the movie's budget.
That's definitely true.
That's 100% true. 2/3 of the whole movie CGI. So yes. Okay,
So-
we can go ahead and cut that one out. So it's either Natalie Portman have to go home to do her final exam, or Qui-Gon Jinn's freaking communicator.
If
Dude,
that's
those
how you want to
two-
do it.
I felt like you did the first one, the Natalie Portman one, because we looked up her age when we watched the movie.
I think we made fun of that a lot, like during the movie.
We
so,
did.
I'm going with that one.
Yeah.
The
first
false one is Natalie Portman. Had to go.
Come on.
Are you serious?
The lie is that the CGI is 2/3 of the movie's budget. That's the lie.
Really?
Yes.
We both wrong
The-
again.
The movie's budget was like 98% CGI. The other way around. CGI was 98% of the movie's budget.
Bro,
Oh, you're serious?
Yes.
That's garbage.
Yeah, it's some trash.
They made nothing off of that. The actors didn't.
Nope. It's ridiculous. Okay.
All they needed was like, you want to be in Star Wars?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, sure.
So here's the next one. The first one, number 1, is Jango Fett can be seen in the crowd during the pod race. And then the next one is to create the sound of the spectators during the pod race. Sound designer Ben Burns took a recorder to San Francisco 49ers game and recorded the crowd's reaction. I'm pretty sure I told you guys this already.
Yeah, that was true.
And the next one is the Starship Enterprise from Star Trek, The Next Generation, can be seen briefly among the traffic flying around Coruscant. Which one of those is
Those
the
all
lie?
sound right. I don't think. I mean, having Jango Fett wouldn't be a far stretch, but why would he be in Tatooine? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would be the point of that? To keep tracks on, like,
Why was Guido there?
he was a little kid.
Yeah.
I feel like that first one's false because he didn't really even show up till the next movie.
Yeah.
This was a very hidden cameo, but I don't see that being true.
I don't know.
So you going with that one?
I am, yeah.
Okay. And what was the third one? Third one was the.
Third one was the Starship Enterprise from Star Trek The Next Generation can be seen among the traffic flying around Coruscant.
I'm gonna go with Brandon too. Say Jango Fett's
We're
cameo.
both wrong.
No, you're both right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
I was about to say, I'm like, I would have seen that in one of those like cameo videos or
Yeah,
whatever that people
yeah.
made. Jango Fett!
It's like 80-year-old grandma. Okay.
Bro, George Lucas didn't even know who Jango Fett was when he made this
Yeah,
first
right.
movie.
He didn't
did
even
not
know.
think that far ahead.
No, absolutely not. Okay. So here's the next 3. So the first one is the special effects team creating the pod race. The pod race studied NASCAR crash footage extensively to ensure accuracy in all the crashes. And then the next one, Darth Maul's lightsaber was originally supposed to be 2 separate lightsabers, but was accidentally fixed together in the process of building them, so George Lucas decided to leave it as is. And then the last one, Ian McGregor, who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi, is the nephew of Dennis Lawson, who played Rebel pilot Wedge Antilles in the original trilogy.
Okay, I know that's true. I've heard that. That's true. So, it's the second one. Darth Maul's lightsaber.
That sounds like crap. Yeah.
That's false.
You're right.
Yes.
You guys are finding me out now. Crap.
Because I remember seeing that Ian McGregor thing in the interview. Like, he was like, yeah, that was my uncle or whatever. And I was like,
Yep.
hey, I knew it.
Yep.
That's
I
pretty
thought that
dope.
was pretty cool. When I read that, I was like, okay, keep it into the family incest. I see how it is. I'm just kidding. I mean, that's what they did in the original trilogy. So
Oh
This
yeah.
whole trilogy, the whole 3 movie, or the whole, like, 9 movies are just a story about just incest and how
it's Nazi incest.
Yes.
That's what it's about. Okay. All right. Here's the next 3. So, first one is of the 2-hour and 16-minute runtime, only 10 to 15 minutes contain no visual effects. And the second one, the battle droids were originally supposed to be as white as the stormtroopers from the original trilogy, but during pre-production, George Lucas decided to change them to beige. And then the third one is Anakin's mother, which I can't pronounce the actress's name, was the actual mother of the child who played young Guido.
Really? I think that third one's false, low key.
I feel like it's the first one because I remember you saying there's only like one shot in the entire movie that didn't have CGI in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's that first one.
Okay.
Well, it'd be crappy for me to go back on my answer after hearing that, so I'm gonna just go with Greedo. That's the.
Ethan's right.
Yes.
And I'm still right. But that one scene was 15 minutes long.
Trash.
Had one shot.
Yeah, that one shot was
15
15
minutes.
minutes long. Yeah.
What? What?
Like, okay, I guess it's not like a continuous shot. I just mean like the one portion, I guess, or whatever.
Right.
Sorry. It's confusing.
Dang, I'm kind of killing it, low key. I can weed out Andrew's bullcrap pretty easily.
All right, this is the last one.
All right.
Let's see how this goes. All right. So here's number 1. Hugh Jackman, Tim Roth, and Harry Connick, Harry Connick Jr., sorry, were considered for the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Number 2, Warwick Davis is sitting next to Watto during the pod race scene. He also plays Anakin's friend, Wald, sorry, a Rodarian child. I don't understand that. And then the third one, George Lucas was caught many times staring at Keira Knightley and was asked by her parents to stop.
Bro,
Uh,
I really hope the third one's false. What was the first one again? What was the first one?
The first one was Hugh Jackman, Tim Roth, and Harry Connick Jr. were considered for the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That actually sounds kind of true. Honestly, I can see that.
yeah, Hugh Jackman seems like very typical
Hugh Jackman
bull crap
is for
response.
everything.
Yeah.
So either that one's true. I'd say that one's true. What was the second one?
Second one was Warwick Davis is sitting next to Watto during the pod race. He is also playing Anakin's friend, Wald.
That's
That-
true.
that's
That is true.
Because they would have little stuff like nods, little stuff like that. So it's got to be the third one. That sounds
It's the third
made
one.
up. Andrew made that one up.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like something you would make up.
Exactly. George Lucas, little pedophile bitch. Got him. Oh my god.
There we go.
Yep. All right, that was fun. I should make more next time. There wasn't a lot. Like surprisingly, there wasn't a lot of good ones. Like as I was reading it, I was like,
This is
"That's
trash.
boring. That's boring. That's boring." Plus, it's also Star Wars, so a lot of it you guys already knew.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, dang it. But our next movie it'll be fun to do. Okay. So this next portion, I want to do where I literally will read a review from this movie. Right? Somebody reviewed this movie, and I want us to react to it. All right?
Okay.
So just listen closely. The name of this review, or the title, A Solid But Flawed Addition to the Star Wars Saga.
Okay.
Well, after waiting 16 years for his next installment, George has given us The Phantom Menace. As a Star Wars fan, I got what I expected. Another chance to immerse myself in the Star Wars universe. A film whose sole purpose is essentially escapism. But as a movie fan, and judging it as I would say any work, any other movie, I frankly feel mildly disappointed. Any movie that's made can always be improved upon, but I feel that this should have been better. Firstly,
Really?
the good points.
Okay.
The visuals are stunning.
Well, this was back in 1999, so
A lot of love and hard work has quite obviously gone into the effects, and the people involved can quite rightly be proud of their work.
I
All the performances by the main cast were good, particularly Natalie Portman.
No.
Hold on, we got to read them all
All
first.
right.
The pod race was exciting and amusing. I agree with that one.
I would agree with that too. The pod race is cool.
The final saber duel was quite fantastic. Darth Maul
Agreed.
prowling up and down like a caged tiger was a particularly excellent touch. It added real tension and anticipation to the scene. The music, as always, was magnificent. The Star Wars saga would lose much of its charm and intensity without Williams' score.
That's true. Loki.
And now the negatives.
Gosh.
The pacing was fast.
What?
Nah.
Bruh.
The first half hour of the film just left me cold. You weren't led into the story. You were dumped straight into the action. On paper, I'm sure the first half hour looked fantastic, but I found myself sitting in the theater going, hey, let me turn the page. All the anticipation. I found myself in the theater going, hey, great special effects shot there. I wasn't involved in the story, and the scene lacked tension and danger.
Yeah.
2. The film only truly started for me on reaching Tatooine. I finally got a chance to get to know the characters. However, there still was not enough character development in the film as a whole. For example, Obi-Wan had nothing to do or say throughout the movie except flash his lightsaber around from time to time.
That's kind of true though.
Who is Obi-Wan? After seeing the film, I'm none the wiser. And the final saber duel, good as it was would have been infinite. That's not a word. Would have been way better had the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan been explored past the mere mentor-apprentice motive. The final saber duel lacked emotional involvement as a consequence. This is the third one. Why did they make Jar Jar so incomprehensible? I found myself becoming annoyed or having to strain to understand his nonsensical utterings. Having said that, he wasn't as annoying as I'd been led to expect. Why George used easily identifiable racial accents for his alien characters completely puzzled me. It just shows a lack of imagination. Number 4, not enough Darth Maul.
True.
I can agree with
Number
that.
5, what's with the biological exposition of the Force? Was that even necessary? The first 3 films pointed to links between the Force and genetics, but I don't need tiresome old scientific explanations as the Force's origin. Thank you very much. It just ruined the mystique.
Yeah.
Number 6. Can we have less of the mindless gaffes that occur in the final battle scene? You know, the ones that save the day? It's an insult to the audience's intelligence. In a full theater, I swear I didn't see a single soul who looked under 16. Has George forgotten about the original fans? Is the original trilogy there? In the original trilogy, there was none of this cringeful, embarrassing material. Ewoks accepted.
True.
And this is still him. Well, I think I'll stop there. To summarize, a good movie that could have been a whole lot better. Perhaps there was too much story to cover in 2 hours, in which case the plot should have been shortened on the adage that less is more. I've always thought that Episode 1 was always going to be the lamest of the new films, so I await the next installment with anticipation and hope.
Buckle
then
your
they got Clone Wars.
seatbelts.
And then they came out with Clone Wars. I feel so bad for this guy.
Yeah, just wanted to say Natalie Portman's performance was the worst.
Oh, it was garbage. It was so bad. She had no emotion
Like,
whatsoever.
no, I'm begging you. No emotion at all.
But you could honestly say that for almost every character in the prequel trilogy.
Well, I would argue Qui-Gon had a little bit.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
it's just everybody delivers their lines so flatly.
Yeah.
They're just like,
And
please, you underestimate my power. Bro, what? What kind of trash is that?
God, what was? Oh my God, the Jewish guy. What was his name?
What?
You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Watto.
Watto.
What?
You know who I'm talking about. Watto was extremely emotional. He was amazing. Like his acting was incredible.
The kid is good.
Qui-Gon, you old piece of shit. How are you?
Stupid.
Oh man. Okay. Why don't you take this kid? I know you're into that. So many pedophilia jokes. Okay. So what? Obviously, throughout that review, we were agreeing and disagreeing. But like, what was the main thing about that review that you disagree with?
Natalie Portman's performance.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking
Obviously.
about that.
About him saying it was a good movie but could need improvement. It was not a good movie in the slightest.
I
It was
agree.
like he had that theater high where he like just got out of the theater and he was like, oh wow, because you're always like, wow, this movie was great, and then because he wrote his review on that.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this friggin' however long this is ago, 19 years ago,
Yeah.
or 21 years ago when this came out.
Right.
The movie's trash. Like, and maybe that's just because I'm used to like good quality movies and like better
Well-
special effects and stuff. But
When I first watched it, it was on VHS, and I was like 8. Yeah, I was pretty young. I was like 6 or 8, and I loved it. And that's probably the only reason why I still like it, is because it reminds me of my childhood.
yeah,
But like looking back and watching it again in 4K, mistake.
Bro.
Audience, don't don't watch this movie in 4K.
It doesn't
Do
deserve it.
not. It makes it so much worse because you just see the green screen in the background, the Windows XP wallpaper.
Just had to say that.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad.
It is really bad.
Oh, and like just you can see like as they're moving, you just see the the horrible edit. Like it's so bad. Don't watch it in 4K.
Some
whatever
real
you do.
PS2 graphics. type
Yes,
stuff.
literally all the scenes with Jar Jar look like a freaking video game cutscene. I'm just like,
It was trash. I'm not gonna lie. I do agree with him with the more Darth Maul.
oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
feel like Darth Maul was like one of the best parts of that entire film.
Again, I said this before, but Darth Maul is literally the Boba Fett of this series.
Mm-hmm.
He dies instantly and has nothing. I mean, Jango Fett is the Boba Fett too, but
But I'm not gonna lie.
This is the
At
Boba
least
Fett
he
of this
went out
movie.
pretty dope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he had a long ass.
And he
fight
actually killed
like,
somebody.
And he actually killed somebody. Like it was actually dope. He actually had a death that was well deserved.
yeah. And Boba Fett,
just-
Boba Fett and Jango Fett didn't kill anybody. Well, actually, take that back. Jango Fett killed that one no-name Jedi in Episode 2.
and he was like
Jedi went and then went
fell
instantly died. Didn't block nothing. Just died. Oh man, that was fun. Okay. Oh yeah. So this is another thing I want to do just for the Patreon thing. So obviously we can't in this episode, but from this point on, and I'm going to announce the next movie that we're going to do. But for everybody that's listening and watching, I want you to go onto the Patreon, and in the Patreon community, I want you to leave an alternate ending to this movie. And I mean, you guys can do it too if you want. You can email it to me or whatever. And then the next time we have the podcast, which will be a month from today, we will read those alternate endings. All right?
Be
And
lit.
I think that'll be fun.
Or 2 Patreons.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you know I be.
So yeah, tell us an ending that you would rather have happen, or that you would think would make it better or funnier or whatever it would be to make that movie just more enjoyable, because it was trash. But so yeah, that's pretty much it for this. I do want to announce though the next movie that we're gonna do,
Oh boy.
and you
Oh,
guys
boy.
don't know what it is. Are you ready? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man,
Finally.
Yes.
the first one.
Oh, it's gonna be so good, dude.
I'm excited, Loki.
I'm gonna try and buy it in 4K.
Dude, is it even out in 4K?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Oh,
I would
this
think
is gonna
it would be,
be
though.
so good.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun.
I'm so excited.
William Dafoe and all that.
I can probably
oh,
get
it's gonna
that.
Be great.
Like, right
Beta.
Beta.
We start a whole conversation about that, but I guess we save that for next time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, right? But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to go to the Patreon, which I'll have it linked in the description. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Be sure to review us on Apple Podcasts,
course.
and go to the YouTube channel, which will also be linked there. Yeah. Thanks for listening.
It's been lit, my dudes.
Yep. Oh wait, we got to rate. I almost forgot. So how would you? Let's see. Rate this movie 1 out of 10. Let me think. 1 out of 10. Oh, the boy is good. How many boy is good? Sorry, how would you rate this movie? You have to say it too.
Probably. Trying to think of something.
You want me to go first?
I'm
Well-
gonna give it this. I'm gonna give it 3. Ooh, the boys are good. I'm gonna give it 3 because that's about as good as I can give
A
it.
3? Okay.
I'll give it a 4. Boy, this good out of 10.
Only because this movie is my childhood, and it's
You
the
gonna give it
only
an
movie,
8.
and the only movie that has Darth Maul in it. Well, I take that back. Rogue One has Darth Maul in it, but trash.
Solo.
Solo, not Rogue One.
Not bad.
So I would give it 6.37. Oh, the boy is good.
Very.
They would love
Pretty exact.
Rotten Tomatoes. Hire me,
Yes.
and then we'll figure out what that combined score is later. But all right, thank you for listening.
All right. See ya.
Bye.